Thank you, Abhishek. Good evening, friends. On behalf of CFA Society, I welcome you all to the 11th edition of India Investment Conference. I hope you and your loved ones are doing fine. What a year 2020 was. Exactly a year back, when we met at the 10th edition of India Investment Conference, we discussed about the need to brace for various kinds of risk and uncertainties. But I don't think any of us could predict the course of events as it finally unfolded. Humanity faced the unprecedented or the biggest health crisis in its history, an unprecedented economic crisis, rising inequality and polarization leading to a social crisis, a climate crisis with erratic weather events, and a geopolitical crisis with two biggest powers at loggerheads. Amidst these dark clouds, we also witnessed the best of human ingenuity. Our resilience wasn't in lockdown. Yes, the challenges abound, but our resolve see no bound. Just when we witnessed the dark clouds on the horizon in the month of March last year, our volunteers in CFA Society, with the help of society staff and colleagues from CFA Institute, rose to the occasion and had a bigger zeal to provide member value by adapting to the new normal very soon in the lockdown. From 30th March, during the lockdown, we did one webinar a day, clocking 37 teaching events. During the year, we had a record number of speaker sessions, workshops, and roundtables. And of course, a lot of quality content and discussions on our blogs and social media handles. Our widely sought out conferences like Value Investing Pioneers Conference, FinTech Conference, Wealth Management Conference, Corporate Governance and Investing Conference, Fixed Income Conference, they were all held in the virtual format. And we had the privilege of having some of the biggest thought leaders from across the world speaking on these conferences. Friends, as you know, CFA Society is a not-for-profit organization. Our India Society connects our members to a global network of 170,000 charter holders across 158 CFA member societies. The vision of our India Society is to be the professional body for ethics, excellence, and thought leadership in finance. Our members in their voluntary capacity have been working hard with a missionary zeal. We strongly believe finance must be for the ultimate good of society. Working with regulators, industry bodies, academia, and practitioners, our volunteers are engaged on a number of thought leadership projects, including financial literacy, corporate governance, social security, promoting ESG, and building an ethical performance culture. This year, CFA Society India worked closely on CFA Institute's competency framework. Society directors and members have endeavored to cover all key competencies investment decision makers need. Through our events, our endeavor has been to bring the best insights, concepts, and ideas from around the world. The 11th India Investment Conference, starting today, like the previous editions, is being supported by multiple patrons and global thought leaders. The theme for this conference is confronting disruption. Despite COVID, a once-in-a-century event, so far at least, our scientists, our policymakers, risk managers, business leaders, they've all been able to respond and successfully manage the downsides COVID inflicted on everyone. But the pre-COVID disruptive forces haven't gone away. Understanding and deliberating these forces has now become really important. Rapidly expanding central bank balance sheets, record levels of government debt, rising inequality, polarization in market valuations, fast changing technological canvas. In fact, COVID has only accelerated the pace of the technological changes, and the ever increasing environmental burden. Investors need to confront many of these disruptions. As one of our speakers, Howard Marks, wrote in his recent memo, and I quote, "Businesses are both more vulnerable and more dominant in today's world, with much greater opportunities for dramatic changes in future, both positive and negative." So friends, my colleagues, and I have worked hard to put together a rich lineup of speakers who could help us in expanding our toolbox that is required for success in the complex world we are living in. We will soon have opening remarks on the conference theme from Lutfi Siddiqui, Managing Director, CFA Institute, and then we will kickstart our main session with none other than Michael Mabuzin, Head of Conciliant Research at Counterpoint Global, Morgan Stanley in New York. His session, titled as Drivers of Disruption, will be moderated by ace investor and somebody who's been following Michael for a very long time, our good friend Ramdev Agarwal. This will be followed by a session with Chris Mayer. Chris is, as you know, is co-founder of Woodlock Capital, author of several books, including Stocks That Return 100 to 1 and How to Find Them. Another very interesting book, How Do You Know? A Guide to Clear Thinking About Wall Street, Investing, and Life, and many more. Professor Sanjay Bakshi will be in conversation with Chris. On Saturday evening, that's tomorrow, we will have a session with Howard Marks, co-chairman Oaktree. It's indeed a great honor for CFA Society India to host Howard again. His memos have been so thought-provoking, and as the title of his recent memo is, his presentation will be titled Something of Value, and that session will be moderated by S. Naren. The second session tomorrow is with David Rubenstein, co-chairman Carlyle Group, which will be moderated by Manish Sabharwal, founder of TeamLease. His session is titled as The View from Washington. And these two leaders will cover a range of topics pertinent for investors and business leaders. On Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m., we'll be starting with Hiro Mizuno-san, who is the CIO of GPIF, the largest pension fund of Japan and one of the largest pension fund of the world. He's a special envoy to UN on innovative finance. He sits on Tesla's board. He will give his perspective on the role of institutional investors in times of disruption. My friend Narayan Ramchandran will be moderating that session. And the last session on Sunday will be by Dr. Grace Lodgen, Director MSc in Behavioral Finance at LSE, on disrupting decision-making. My colleague on CFA Society Board, Ritika Mankar, will moderate that session. Like every year, in the following week, starting on 5th February, we will have a special lineup of speakers who will conduct an in-practice workshop on portfolio management. So on 5th February, we'll have Kenneth Andrade for a session on public equity, and Badrish Kulali for a session on of HDFC Life on fixed income. On Sunday, 6th February, we'll have Kundan Saran taking a session on New Horizons for Alternative Investment Fund, and my dear friend and colleague from SPI, Ruchit Mehta, fund manager, on ESG's context and relevance in today's world. I sincerely hope the IIC meets the high standards we endeavor to set for ourselves. My sincere thanks to all the distinguished speakers for sparing their time, for sharing their wisdom with us. We really feel honored, we feel privileged. I hope this conference provides opportunities to all of us to understand, debate, reflect on ideas. I hope that each one of us is able to take away learnings that could help us to find sustainable solutions for the financial services we deliver to our clients. Also, do share your feedback on ways we could do better. Once again, my heartfelt welcome to all of you. Together, I look forward to purposeful learning over the next 3 days. Stay safe, stay healthy. Back to you, Abhishek.